by accountants are played out, for the most part, away from the world stage. Accountants are back office of organizations. Without fanfare or external scrutiny, the revelation of fraud or corruption has quickly thrown, or can quickly throw their role and credibility into sharp public focus. The question is, what actions should the professional accountant may have chosen to take up until that revelation, and how can he be protected? I know for sure, as a professional accountant and a council member of ISPAC, that this presentation was useful to us, Honorable Justice, in the following manner. First, it will help us accountants comply with the fundamental principles of integrity and the professional behavior when we encounter a suspected illegal act or fraudulent activity. Two, it will set out a clear expectation that we will take the action needed to serve the public interest when duty shall call for that. Three, and this is the most interesting, this presentation was supposed to empower us, deter management from committing illegal acts, and prompt them to put things right when we detect them. And finally, by ensuring that our clients, both in the public sector and the private sector, that as professional accountants we will not hesitate, and we have a duty to respond robustly if they come across criminal irregularities in the course of our work. The question is, when will we have been seen to have acted within our professional realms and with issue? So today we will start from this end, moving towards this end. Anybody with a compliment, a comment or a question from this end to Mheshimiwa Honorable Justice Ojwang. Honestly, I can't see a hand this end. There is one here. There is a lady. Is it a lady or a gentleman? No, it's okay. I don't think whether she had raised the hand. Can we come at the window? Any question? Yes, I see several. We will start with the chairman of the Rwandan Institute, and then we will follow by CPA Juni Kivinda, and then we'll go to CPA Rolly, and the gentleman right behind CPA, and then we'll come to you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Justice. That was a very insightful talk. I first want to ask the audience a very quick question. By show of hands, how many of us are corrupt? Show of hands. Okay, how many of us are not corrupt? You see, corruption starts at an individual level. By the small things, you steal fuel, you deviate the car, you take a ream of paper, and maybe with that definition, very few of us may be caught as corrupt. Now, something the Honorable Minister said, Honorable Justice, sorry, was corruption is everywhere. But the extent is what nobody will care whether I had an honorable career. Do I have a good retirement? Can I afford? So what do we do in those dynamics? Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. We go to CPA June.
Thank you, CPA Malombe, for this opportunity. Honorable Justice Ojwang, thank you for your presentation. Now, you indicate that you specialize in comparative constitutional law, and we are seeing the Kenya Constitution is promoting devolution. In this room, we have practitioners who are going also to embrace devolution. My question is, what is your take on trade licenses for our practitioners? What do we expect to see happening in future so that we can get ourselves in the right space now? Thank you.
Thank you, June. Rolly? And you say your name? Be precise.
My name is CP Raymond Oroli, and my question is, I'll do it differently. Honorable, thanks for a moving speech. Now, just for this, my grandmother in Nyeri, who was hungry for 2 weeks, she had not eaten for 2 weeks. And then all of a sudden, a chicken came across her house. And immediately, she went and caught up with the chicken, and she slaughtered the chicken, she ate it. This lady of 90 years was taken to your court. After a week, this guy was back in the street, moving on with their good lifestyles. But the poor lady is in jail. Look at these happenings in our society. Someone takes a knife and kills his fellow citizen or a brother. This person is taken to court, and after precisely 1 or 2, 3, 4 days, this gentleman is back on the streets. Now, Honorable, why is this happening? Because in developed jurisdictions, you will not kill a person, you will not be corrupt, and then you are left free. What is happening here? Are you fearing? Can we take up an alternative way to sort out this mess so that we can move forward?
I think I would want to contextualize that more and put it this way, Honorable Justice Ojwang. What is the principle behind sanctioning small offenders more than the big fish? I think that's the issue we should be discussing. Because we have seen the thieves of goats go 10 years, and the thieves of billions of shillings go 1 year. I think the question is, how can we understand the principle behind punishing the small offenders more and letting the big fish free? Yes, gentleman there. There's a gentleman here. And then from there we are going there.
My name is John Lolkoloi. Thank you, Supreme Court Judge, Professor Ojwang. You did talk about progressive societies. And some of the progressive societies that I know, corruption ranks the same as drug trafficking and terrorism. So just like the first question that was asked, what is your view about having corruption in Kenya declared as a capital of
CPA Rosemary? Then there is a lady behind. I think there are 2 ladies behind, and they need to be given microphone. We'll be coming towards the front. We'll start with the 3 ladies. Yes, CPA Rosemary.
Okay. Honorable Justice Ojwang, thank you for the nice presentation. All protocols observed. I'll comment on the area of ADR, particularly arbitration. I sit in a tribunal, and there are things that I've seen. We need some legal framework. This has to do with contracts or projects of a commercial nature, which affects us as professionals. As we endeavor to implement those projects, we commit funds. They are in our KPIs, but when it comes to disputes arising and they have to be referred to arbitration, for example, you have a project worth 2 billion, funds have been committed, but when the dispute arises of maybe 10%, that arbitration will take forever. So this is an area, Honorable Justice, we need a law to cap that arbitration period so that those projects can be implemented as planned, so that we can have development, we can have business going on. Because I've seen the business communities affected, and even the development partners are also affected. Then number 2, still on arbitration, is such that when you look at those what are they called? The ones from arbitration, you realize that they lack financial inputs. You find a lot of raw facts are there, but when you want to look at the financial bit of it, it is lacking. This is where we would like to partner with the lawyers as accountants so that these awards can be properly disbursed with. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, CPA Rosemary. I think I want to praise your question. And the question you're asking, Honorable Justice Ojwang, is can we have legal guidelines prescribed by the judiciary under the Judiciary Act? And if the answer is no, why not? Because the original powers are vested with the Judicial Service Commission by the Constitution and Article 1(2)(c). Yes, the two ladies behind.
I have a mic. Let me just shoot it quickly. CPA Malombe. My name is CPA Philip Kakai. I work for the judiciary. I'm very delighted that our judge is here today, and we should have more of them, more. And now, corruption fights back, and fights back viciously and seriously. I would wish our Honorable Justice Jackson Oboma Ojwang to just comment on that from a professional point of view. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, CPA Kakai. And from now, I think even if the mic is near you, you have to raise your hand so that we have an orderly meeting. I've said the two ladies behind, and I see a gentleman also behind. So we will take first the two ladies, we will take the first lady, then the two gentlemen. The lady first. There is a lady behind there. Yes, you. The one who is holding your chest. Yes. Give her the mic. Yes.
She's the secretariat.
She's the secretariat?
Yes.
So the hand was not up.
My question is to Ojwang. Anglo-leasing has taken...
Okay.
From the people, the principal people have died. Anglo-leasing is still in court. Justice Ojwang, can you agree that the judiciary is the weakest link in the fight against corruption? Number 2, Justice Ojwang, culturally some ethnic groups in Kenya, when you steal from another place and you bring the money home, you are a champion. What is that in culture? Justice Ojwang, can you comment on that? Number 3, Justice Ojwang, I want to ask, why do you people put on intimidating clothes when you are in court that scares things that used to be put in the 15th century England? Number 4, Justice Ojwang. Okay, thank you.
Okay, this gentleman there. Yeah, the gentleman there. Yes, the one who has stood up, and then is followed by the other delegate. Yes.
Thank you, Honorable Justice Ojwang. My name is Ochuodo Peter. Kindly comment on this scenario. Look at, I am a public servant or a servant of, let me say a factory worker. I have a family, but wherever I am working, I corruptly acquire some resources, and then I use them to put up an empire. I have children growing up on this empire, and as always, young ones aspire to be as they see me and what they see around. You have talked a lot about tackling corruption at ADR levels, at the judiciary, and also having ethical codes of conduct in organizations. But as a family man, bringing looted resources home, does this have or bring an influence to children who are growing? What can corruption be tackled at family level, which is the basic unit of life? Thank you.
Thank you so much. And I think let's agree. We be brief. We ask the question because we also have some other timelines. Honorable Justice Ojwang is traveling back in Nairobi at 1, and we want to give as many delegates a chance to ask their question. So that is agreeable?
Yes.
Yes. Precise to the question.
Thank you. I hope I'll meet that standard. My name is CPA Akeno Tom. I think more often we find that when the big fish cases are taken to court, there is always this narrative that there is lack of sufficient evidence. So I would wish to ask Honorable Justice Ojwang, what is it they have been able to interact with maybe the office of the DPP to enable us get this sufficient evidence to be able to go behind the bars? Thank you, sir.
Thank you. I think I like your preciseness. We are coming over this way, this end. We're done with that end. There's a gentleman here whose hand has been up. Anybody else? Yes, there's another gentleman there. Any other hand? Yes, there's another that gentleman there. And the final gentleman there. I think we'll take that set. Is it yes, you. Nimekuona, madam. You wait first. There is this gentleman, then you.
Thank you, CPA Malombe. Your Lordship, thanks a lot for your nice presentation. My name is CPA Charles Okeowar. In the fight of corruption, we need to tackle corruption from all directions, save from the ground. And you've told us just a few minutes ago that Parliament need to be guided, and guidance should be in a nice way. But Article 1 of the Constitution talks about sovereignty of people, where people elect their leaders, their representatives who goes to the Parliament. Here is a case in Kenya where we are going to elect our leaders, and those who are going to be elected are those who have enough money in their pockets to dish out. Then the same people are going to Parliament to chair the committees. These people have elected the corrupt people already. Now, what is the way forward to address such issues? Thank you very much.
Yes, the gentleman here. Yes. Then there is another gentleman there, and then the lady next to the speaker.
Yes, good afternoon.
Good afternoon to you.
CPA Dondi Dania. My question goes straight to Professor. The issue of integrity. I'm finding it a bit amazing when it comes to dealing with a small man and a big man. For instance, recently we heard of these cases of the NYS. What happens when somebody has been accused that he abused the office by stealing funds, then after which he's being released from his duty, and now is going for another elective position? So what is really happening? How is this integrity working? What are the judges doing about it? Because you see, my understanding about integrity is being straightforward and honest. When somebody has been hounded out of the office, a public one, that he was maybe accused of misappropriation of some funds, then why would he go to another political office, which is also a public office?
Thank you so much. No. We'll take this question first. I see you want to take the advantage of the mic. I will give you a chance.
My name is CPA Kahono. I would like to ask this question, and you mentioned that there is a lack of support by the community. I'm asking this question in conjunction to the reference to the recommendation by NGOs that some aspirants should be barred from contesting for the coming general election. Do they have a legal backing to support, to enable them pursue this, and will this be taken as part of the community trying to support this cause of corruption?
Yes, the lady. At least the lady down there.
My name is Ngendo Gyoko. Going and what it is paying for. When you look at procurement, it's the same thing. It is digitalized. Equally with the banks, if you are to transfer money 1 million shillings and above, you must state its source and the purpose. Therefore, why is it that when it comes to government corruption in government, it seems there is no adequate evidence to prosecute those who are involved in transfer of billions of shillings? Yet only 1 million shillings, you must state where the money is coming from. It must be shown to be legal and for what purpose it is for. How come that the judiciary do not have adequate evidence to judge these corrupt cases?
Yeah, thank you, madam. We'll take this final question and then we close before I give guidance on how we proceed. Short and brief.
Yes, my name is CPA Madao. I got very, very worried when Honorable Justice Ojwang was concluding, and he almost got agitated when he mentioned cartels. I saw that with Willy Mutunga, and I even saw it with the president. So wananchi watafanya nini? If Jackton Boma is almost crying because of cartels, Willy Mutunga is crying because of cartels, Uhuru is crying because of cartels. Prof, what do we do to address? At least you almost singled them. You narrowed down to some commissions. Do we abandon those commissions if they are the roots of cartels? Because if institutions are failing, then wananchi should, what you are talking about as alternative resolution, should extend to giving wananchi power and dealing with some of those areas. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I want to give guidance as follows. I know we have received some of the highest number of questions we have ever received since the presentations. And I would want these questions to be answered comprehensively by Honorable Justice Ojwang. So we will request him to respond to those he can here. And we request those who had questions to write it down and hand it over to Makoa. As a secretariat, we will send them to Honorable Justice Ojwang so that he can respond to them comprehensively and they be posted to ISPAC website. Thank you.
I think I should start with the last question. Cartels cannot be controlled easily because they operate from places nobody knows. And the people who move them have very serious personal interests. They don't want to share with others. Therefore, cartels are undemocratic in the first place. There are people who have got their own interests, either in terms of gaining some jobs or gaining some money or some contract. They have some deep things, deep secrets. That's the basis of cartels. Cartels should not pretend that they're speaking for the Kenyan people. Cartels belong to the owners of those cartels. Therefore, they should be kept out of official business. Official business is public and for the people, to be done on the basis of elected institutions, properly scrutinized institutions. But cartels, no one has scrutinized them. Nobody knows whose interests they are serving. So I think it is very dangerous for Kenyans to be infiltrated by cartels, and they have secret routes which they use to gain ascendancy in some places. The public had better keep out cartels from the operations. We will never control them. You can't. They can't identify themselves with the people to say, you see, we are speaking for those silent majorities. No. These are self-seeking individuals. And even if you know some members of cartels in this country, think about them. They are very secretive. So please, let's have nothing to do with cartels. They are very dangerous, and they will kill our institutions. We cannot control them, and they will personalize all the services. Now, the next point is corruption and the question of evidence. This, I can say, is part of the weakness of our institutions. Our policing institutions are not strong professionally and technically. So when they do initial investigations, they have not put together in a systematic manner the evidence that they need, or they have omitted a very important piece, so that a person looking at the information they are bringing cannot get a complete picture. And that is problematic in terms of the courts dishing out any penalties, because courts are guided by a certain principle which you can associate with civilized communities. Because the word of a court is law, a court must have convincing evidence. So if you knock out a fundamental element of the evidence, you have disempowered the court. The court takes the principle that it should err on the side of releasing a criminal than on the side of convicting an innocent person. That is the principle which guides the courts. So you can question that in terms of philosophy. That is it right to make that choice? Release a criminal rather than convict an innocent person. That is what guides the court. They are prepared to release a criminal, but they do not want to convict an innocent person. So the courts are playing safe in that regard. They would rather make a mistake and uphold the position of the guilty person whose evidence is not well coordinated. And that is what brings back the duty to the police, the investigative agencies, that they should do their work properly and make sure that when they present it before the court, it is comprehensive and it leads to conviction. If they are convinced professionally that they have collected all the evidence, the courts will also accept that. The courts have no problem. The community and the question of corruption and the elections, candidates and so on. This is a matter of public education. In any given community in this country, the ordinary people whom you know are not very highly educated, sometimes just worship those among them who have the guts to speak out there. So if these people are corrupt, they want to protect that corruption, and they are prepared to live with their own members who are corrupt. If those corrupt people go and steal out there, if you steal among them, it will be a problem. But if you go and steal from a public office and somehow you bring some of that money home, then they will just think you are a good person. And this is something which takes education. So we need to have social education, proper education, so that we enhance our standards of ethics. I would say that most of our communities have not reached that stage of an enhanced standard of ethics infiltrating the whole community. Many people are happy to see one of their sons or daughters stealing from somewhere and bringing him to distribute at home. They will say they're a great guy. You see, it's very difficult to change that except by a change of mind and proper education. That is where that difficulty is. Now, the question of the family as a basis for fighting corruption, it goes back to the same point about education and public awareness. For all Kenyans, whether they have families or not, to understand that corruption can only injure us. It cannot improve us, and it distorts the working of our institutions. That means that that kind of education should be broad-based, not really restricted to the family, but should be available to everybody, so that the members of the public, when they are with their families, they are guided by the same ethics. The lack of evidence issue goes back to the point I was making, that when courts don't have evidence, they don't know what to do. They say, we have only one choice. No evidence, we will not take any action. They want to see evidence which is comprehensive. Because if they proceed and they impose a penalty and they do not have evidence, then they have not done their work judicially. Judicially, they are supposed to receive evidence, to assess its value, and to use it as a basis of conviction. Delays, that's a matter of prosecution. I know that a point has been raised about some of these bad cases taking ages. And I know that generally the judiciary is blamed. It is possible that there are some in the judiciary who are slow or take ages. It's possible, but I think the real cause is those who are placing material before the court. If it is a criminal case and the prosecution is dragging its feet, when is the court going to dispose of it? And the court will be guided by the principle that someone must be shown to be guilty, which means the prosecution should make sure that matter is in court every day until it is sorted out and the court will pronounce itself. But the court will not stop the prosecution from coming with evidence, say in the Anglo-Leasing case. Why? The people who are responsible for prosecution, what are they waiting for? Why don't they place all the evidence before the court? And then, once they do that, the court will decide the question and pronounce sentence. I think that in the Anglo-Leasing case, the problem is likely to be coming from those who are supposed to prosecute. But my suspicion is that a case like Anglo-Leasing is not a case that could be engaged in by one individual or two people. Many people would have been engaged in that. Many people would have benefited. And the Anglo-Leasing case is not a case you can get involved in unless you are very powerful. The weak person walking in the street there would know nothing about Anglo-Leasing. They would not be the beneficiary of Anglo-Leasing. They would not move anything in the Anglo-Leasing matter. It must be people who are strategically positioned. Strategically positioned people have got their backers and their political godfathers. That, I think, is the problem, and that is the reason why you don't have evidence flowing to the desk of the judge. The judge is left totally powerless. So on Anglo-Leasing, I can tell you with a measure of conviction that the problem is because those who caused it were strategically located. People who are strategically located are politically connected. They are powerful, but their power is not on the desk for us to see. Their power is the cartel kind of power, which is wielded outside there by very corrupt people, and they move their things secretly. So the court, the public institution, the people, is left in a position in which it is not able to receive the evidence. So the court is handicapped. I'm sure that that is the explanation for cases such as Anglo-Leasing. So the problem is a social problem of cartels and people having these things I've called strategic positions in the procurement system, even some inside the government, in the political order, and they connect out there. Then they decide they want to make a profit. And they defeat the machinery of the state. The machinery of the state is represented by the courts and the regular prosecution. But here are some individuals who are playing their games by rules outside the machinery of the state. It must be a political question how to deal with people of that kind, because the courts will not go and search for them. It's not the business of the court to search for the criminals. It is the prosecutor to search for them and bring them. But the prosecutor finds that he's confronted by very, very powerful people strategically located. So the prosecutor is not able to lay the cards before the judge. So the judge is completely disempowered. That is very, very sad. So that I think answers some of the points. Let me just see how much else I can take on. On the question of ADR and the timelines, I am in agreement that the law should define the timelines so that you do not have something which purports to be ADR, but it takes ages. It is a matter that should be regulated by law. An act of parliament should specifically state the time periods to be taken, which should be short to ensure that justice is done. Again, on the awards of arbitration, that is a matter again which requires statutory guidelines. There should be amendments, appropriate amendments to the Act to indicate the lines of award, principles to regulate awards. That should be done by legislation. Corruption will fight back for the reason I've mentioned, that those who are corrupt at this high level, like the Anglo-Leasing case, they are strategically located. The question is, who has allowed them to be strategically located? Someone should remove them from their strategic locations. But they have taken the resources which they have stolen and have greased so many hands that the system is just not moving. The judge is not able to solve it. If the prosecutor cannot solve it, what it means is that a political decision needs to be taken about the strategic location of those people. Who made them strategic? Why are they remaining strategic, those people? The decision to remove them is a political decision. I think that I will leave it at this. Let's see, maybe one or two others. Oh yes, there's an important question about confidentiality of the work of accountants. That's a very important professional question. That given the confidentiality that attends the work of accountants, they may fail to be very helpful in dealing with corruption. That is a concern. And my answer to this is that the bottom line is the law. While it is proper to accept the confidentiality of accountants, whenever a matter arises in the course of which an accountant should give some information, this matter should go before a judge or a magistrate. The reason is, look at Article 1 of the Constitution. The people have entrusted their sovereignty in judicial matters to the judges and the magistrates. Therefore, it is in the interest of the people and of the people themselves, whenever a question of this sort arises, whether an accountant should give some particular information or not, it is in the interest of the people that the person to decide that matter on a case-to-case basis should be the judge. So you apply before the judge and say, we are asking that, notwithstanding the normal protection given to the accountant's confidentiality, there is this particular matter in respect of which evidence should now be given. The judge will now hear on the merits on both sides, hear the accountant, hear everybody else, and give a judicial decision on what is to happen to this information coming from that particular accountant. That is the way that I would approach it, so that we have to trust the courts. The court is not just ordering you to come and speak on a certain matter which is confidential. The court is hearing evidence on that question and giving a ruling which is authoritative, saying, in this particular matter, for this reason and this, it is necessary for you to give this information. That, I think, is the best way to deal with it. I think we'll deal with the remaining questions in the manner that has been proposed, and I will conscientiously make a response to each and every one of them. So I thank you very much indeed.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm sure Honorable Justice Ojwang has proved himself. Can we put our hands together? I want us to put them in a different manner. You know the courts of law like silence. Silence in court. Silence in? Sasa tutaweka maua, si ndio? Tuweke maua, tuweke kabisa, alafu tupatie judge in one big clap. Haya, 1, 2, 3. Asante sana, Honorable Jackton Ojwang. I'm telling you, this is one of the most captivating and interesting debate. And Chairman ISPAC, I chose specifically to choose this session because it was the most interesting. Having said that, there are certain rights we have been conferred by the Honorable Judge. He has given us a few copies of the presentation, and he has agreed that CPA Susan Oyasi will get in touch with his secretary in the office and get a soft copy so that it is posted among the materials of ISPAC in the ISPAC website. And I am sure that is a great contribution from Honorable Justice Ojwang. Thank you so much, Mheshimiwa, and we appreciate that gesture. As our transition is known as our transition in ISPAC, we call upon CPA Jason K. Mwangi to represent CASNEB, who is one of our platinum sponsors, to avail the memoranda to Honorable Justice Ojwang. And I think here we have a public disclosure, Honorable Justice. We have to ensure that any present we give adheres to the Public Officer Ethics Act, and therefore the value is not more than 20,000, and we say that publicly. These are accountants and auditors, they can audit it and confirm that. So please, Honorable Justice, come forward, and Jason Mwangi, come forward to hand over the momentum to our General Honorable Justice Ojwang. Thank you so much, Jason Mwangi. I call upon Makoa to give us any updates on what we need to do next, and thank Honorable Justice Ojwang more sincerely. Thank you.
And say hi to your neighbor, Salamia Jirani. Say it like you believe it. With a smile. Okay? Good. And I will seek you bear with me. I have just 2 small agendas to transact, and we'll be ready for tea. And one of those is for us to listen to one of our sponsors, who is CASNEB. So I will ask you bear with me. In another 10 or so minutes, we should be done. Let me invite Jason to speak to us now in his capacity as a sponsor.
Good morning, fellow CPAs. Respond to my greetings with some enthusiasm. I'm not conducting an examination today. Actually, today is our final day for our examinations for May, so it has coincided with the last day for the seminar. So I will not examine you today, but I will ask and request you to join us and perhaps register for some of the examinations that we are offering. So I will just take you through what we've been able to do in the recent past. I will not go through our objectives and how we are formed. You already know, because I do believe that most of you have gone through CASNEB. I know you got a very good experience. That's why you'll come back. Yes, I can see you smiling. Yeah, we are established under those 3 acts, the Accountants Act, the CPS Act, and the Investment and Financial Analyst Act. So all those 3 acts of Parliament will mention us, and that's where we draw our mandate, which we have summarized there in terms of our developing syllabuses and conducting professional and diploma examinations, which you are aware of, and also accreditation or training institutions. This is the quality of our products that we offer. You'll find our graduates, most of whom are here, and others elsewhere in the world. That has been proven. This is the process of registering as a student. I know you know, but we decided to bring it here so that you can also advise some of your relatives and even your children to join us. As you can see from the point that I started, that logo is different. We decided to rebrand and change from what you knew us to what is currently here with us, because we believe this is what is resonating with our current student population, who are extremely very young, and we want them to identify with us, and that's why we had to rebrand. We have our products here. These are the professional qualifications that we offer. Perhaps you have known us for CPA and CS. We went to finance. That's why we are offering CIFA. We also are into credit and ICT. Those are other certifications that you can also come and go through, and we'll grant you exemptions depending on the exam that you did, if you're a CPA or you have gone through other examination that is recognized by ourselves. If you don't qualify to take the professional examinations, we have 3 diploma examinations that we offer. There's a diploma in accounting, another one in ICT, and a diploma in credit management. That one, the minimum entry is a C-, just in case you have not attained a C+. The reason I had to come here today is just to let you know about the rebranding that we went through and the new brand that we have. We have a new application. You don't have to come to CASNEB Towers anymore to queue there. If you go through App Store, you will find eCASNEB, and you can register and you interact with us. Actually, we don't want you to come to CASNEB unless you really want to come and say hi to us. You can interact with us through this application. Finally, I would wish to ask each one of you, those who are present here, we are holding a lot of certificates in our premises, which you have not collected. Very soon, we are going to start charging you for keeping those certificates in safe custody. So I'm requesting you to come. That's the only time I want you to come to CASNEB Towers, because you cannot collect the certificates using the eCASNEB. Please come and collect your certificates so that we can free the space. Otherwise, we'll give you an invoice if you don't come for the certificates. So thank you very much for listening to me, and come to our tent and get more information about our product offering. Thank you very much. You can clap for me.
Good. I now want to invite, I said there were only 2 engagements, the very last one. I want to invite on stage CPA Wycliffe Kibisu, one of our sponsors also.
Thank you. I celebrate you. My name is CPA Wycliffe Kibisu. I'm the director of this school, World of Learning. And in this school, World of Learning, is where we make learning easy and fun for every child. And what the Dr. or Professor Ojwang was just saying, actually, the problem in Kenya has actually arisen from the education system children get when they are young. And for us, we have been in the country for the last 9 years. Initially, The 23 years we are in Kenya, we are only serving international schools, but we realize that we can engage our children so that they can compete children across the globe. We believe that right now we can say Singapore is ahead of Kenya, but we believe that if we engage our children by giving them the best education now, our children will reach somewhere and surpass Singapore and be able to achieve what you have never been able to achieve. So as you see there, this is some of the areas that we are engaging the children. We use the power of educational games. We use the power of cartoons. And we believe that if children can understand cartoon very well, even if the parents do not have the character, the cartoon, you remember the story that was there that a cartoon was able to teach a child until that child committed suicide. If that child could not listen to the parent, he listened to the cartoon and he was able to commit suicide. So we believe that if now that cartoon is designed in a way they can teach character, they can teach education, math and reading, our children will be able to achieve what we have not been able to achieve. The reason why I'm here, I have 2 licenses that we want to donate to the institute. Formerly, I was a branch chair in Western. We came up with an idea of engaging children in high school through mentorship. And it has worked on very well. And now we believe that because children are graduating with the English that people are saying that they cannot make an application, as ISPAC as a brand and branches, we are donating 10 licenses, which is actually the command of language that children can be given building blocks right away from primary level, and those children can compete any child in the world. We are donating today licenses which are 10 licenses, which means we have 9 branches, and the head office, which is in Nairobi, will have another license. So the 10 branches that you are donating, licenses you are donating, is the licenses that any school that ISPAC will identify through the SCSR, that school can be able to compete. The children who graduate there will be able to compete with any school in the world as far as the language of English is concerned. So that's why I'm here, and I'm actually telling the parents, who are here, within ISPAC, we agreed that we had our stand here. This is the first time we are making our stand in ISPAC meeting. And this license, the license that we are giving parents here, we are giving 2 licenses for only 3,000 shillings for parents who are attending this particular meeting. Our program ranges from age 3, so when the child is 2 years, age 3 years, up to age 18. So I'm very proud to be with you. I celebrate you because I believe that we can make the Kenya we are looking at. May God bless you so much.
Shall we give a round of applause?
So maybe just to show out, like our program, I said that it begins from preschool. I'm carrying here a kindergarten program, and any child who goes through this program is the same child who has gone to the best education in Singapore, the best education in Malaysia, or the best education in like the International School of Kenya. So this is the shortcut of using technology to ensure that every child, be it in Kibera or be it in Runda, they get equal education. Then they can be able to compete equally. God bless you so much.
I think on behalf of the membership of ISPAC, I want to appreciate the donation from CPA Kibisu of $21,000. I think this is something that we need to appreciate. A big round of applause for that. And to encourage other members that besides doing bookkeeping and accounting, there are many other things you can engage in that can add value to the community. Asanteni sana.
Accountants always prefer to have evidence. So let us allow audit evidence to be generated. Shall we do another round of applause? Thank you very much. We appreciate our sponsors. We are running behind schedule. We need to take a break for tea. And I want to lead ourselves into agreeing how long we take so that we can be back for our panel discussion. A short while ago, I saw our panelists. They are all in the house. So how long do we take for our tea break? Shall I propose 20 minutes? We can do 20 minutes. Are as many out of that opinion say aye? As many out of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. 20 minutes it is, then we resume our next session. Asante sana.